Hey family, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Taylor Grimes and I am here to share with you a story about love. See, love is something I've been trying to seek, understand, and find hope in, specifically from one person, and that is my dad. See, when I was 2 years old, my parents decided to call it quits on their marriage, and that affected me in so many ways. In my childhood, my dad, the only thing I knew about him was just us talking on the phone randomly, getting cards sent to me in the mail that on holidays and for my birthday. But even the card, there was never a personal message. All it was just a signed card that said, "Love, Dad." And so my first ever memory actually I have of my dad was when I was 8 years old. And we actually met up at Chicago Deep Style Pizza. And it was really weird. I'm like, here's my dad who doesn't even really know me. He was just a stranger to me, so during that time I was just really shy. And then after that dinner, again, it just went back to the phone calls and the cards. And then middle school happened, and in middle school I actually started getting involved in a youth group, and I was learning about how God is love, and I never really knew that about God. And so it was just something I was just knowing, I guess, but it wasn't something I was truly believing and actually putting into my heart. And so 8th grade came about, and I had some tragic news fall onto the family. My Uncle Vince passed away, and hearing that news, I knew that soon I would actually be seeing my dad at the visitation and the funeral. And so I did. I saw my dad. And he would come up behind me and give me these hugs, and I was just like, who is this man? I don't even know him. And every 30 minutes or so, he would come up and he would ask the same questions over and over again, and that was hard for me because I'm like, Dad, didn't you hear me the first time I actually shared it? So yeah, I was really affected by that day. And then the next day we had the funeral and brunch, and my mom and I were getting ready to leave from brunch. And my dad actually came up to me and he gave me a hug, and he's like, Taylor, I love you a lot. I love you a lot. And that was really hard for me to receive because I really wanted to believe that. And then he goes in saying, Taylor, I promise that I will call you once a week. And I want to hear about you. I want to hear about volleyball. I want to hear about your friends. But yeah, so I waited. I waited because I found hope in those words. When I hear the words, I promise, they carry a lot of weight for me. And so I just kept waiting, and high school came, and I was still really heavily involved in youth group, actually even more so than before in middle school. And like I said, I guess I was still learning about God's love, but it was something still that hasn't sipped into my heart. And yeah, so high school happened, it was great, and I still haven't heard from my dad. And then I went to college to Taylor University, ironic, I know, and I had a great freshman year. I actually got into a pretty serious relationship. I dated a guy for 6 months, and then it ended in the summer after my freshman year, and I went back to school, and I just hit rock bottom. I fell into heavy depression and realized there was a deeper issue, a deeper root that was going on. I realized that for the longest time I've been really angry at my dad and so hurt by him because all I've been wanting to know is that he really loved me, but actually show me that he loved me, and he just never did that. And so still, I'm waiting for him to call because he still hasn't called yet. And so my sophomore year, as I'm kind of trying to start going through this healing process of why I'm so angry and mad at my dad, I got invited to go to this conference. And at this conference, it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we had a morning session of worship and teaching, and then in the afternoon we actually had time off, and if we pre-registered, our names were signed up to get prayed over. And I was like, this is weird, to get prayed over. I don't know how I feel about that. But all my friends were going to it, so I guess I was going too. And so I did, and it was the most powerful time of my life. It's a memory that will be with me forever. What happened was there was a woman named Shepherd and a husband and a wife, and the husband actually started out in prayer, and he actually saw a picture first of a little girl in a rain slicker, and she had an umbrella, and she was just jumping through the puddles. And at the house was her dad. And when she saw her dad, she dropped the umbrella and just ran towards him. And he just goes on saying, he's like, Father, thank you that you love Taylor. Thank you, God, that as your children, we can run to you like that at any moment, at any time, and that you'll be there to hold us, to catch us. And obviously at this point, I lost it. I was like, here's a man who doesn't even know my story that has carried, a lot of brokenness, and that was such a deep root issue. And so the prayer continues, and Shepherd actually was just like, goes to the wife, and she's like, I just want to hold Taylor. But she's like, I feel like that would be a little bit weird. And so she actually, just turns to me and is like, Taylor, can I hold you? And I was like, without hesitation, I said yes, which is super weird, because I'm like, here's this woman I don't even know. So I actually go and sit in her lap. And in our first instinct, when we sit in someone's lap or we go in for a hug, we put our arms around them. And she's like, no, Taylor, I need you to drop your arms. And that's exactly what I did. And it's like, I haven't had that feeling in so long, that feeling of just being held, where I didn't have to try and keep myself up. And in that moment, I felt the Lord like just so heavy on me, and I felt like instead of sitting in her lap, I was truly sitting on my Father's lap. And in that moment, I just broke, and I was like, God, you are love. It's not something I know anymore. It's something that's really in my heart, and it's a perfect love. It's a love everlasting, unchanging, unconditional. It's like, I don't have to try and find and seek it. It's like you're there giving it to me so freely. And so from that conference on, definitely it was still a battle. I was still struggling with my depression, but I knew in my heart, like, God, you love me. I know you do. You're the best papa a girl could ever have. And so since then, it's definitely been a journey of continual healing, and even in just forgiving my own father here on earth, who isn't perfect, who has, I felt, failed me, but trusting in the most loving, powerful God who doesn't fail, who doesn't abandon, who is there always. And so, and now I'm here at Mosaic, and I just want to share God's love. I want people to understand the Father's love, because He loves His children in ways that we can never imagine, in ways that we can never give, but He still uses us. So